Okay, so because we're hamming this up, Luna is here with my assignment. Luna?
Print a random element from that array.
What array?
Make an array, you tool.
Okay, good question. So remember I had this array earlier, and earlier I was able to print out the entire array, right? But my task today is to print out a random element from this array. So first things first, I have to figure out how to get a random element. So because I have experience programming that got me this job, right? I know that print line is how you print things. Good? Okay. Next thing I know, I am solid at guessing, which should actually be one of the things you take from a computer science class. So, what am I going to guess for how to get a random thing?
Random.
Random is probably a good idea.
Maybe words.
The variable random does not exist.
Words.
Yeah, I'm not going to try to get anything out of the array yet. I'm just going to try to print a random thing.
Oh.
So, random is not a variable. Why is random not a variable? Because I didn't declare a variable called random. So what should random be if it's not a variable? Like processing knows the word random. But it's a method. So you need to give it something. So I'm going to give random nothing to start with. The function random oh god. It expects a float. What's your first guess for a number? No. I will accept 0, 1, or 2 as first guesses. I'm going to guess 2, just cuz. Apparently that has appeased the program. Do I want this to print out the whole array? Like, do I want this part to execute right now? No. So I'm going to comment that out. Okay, what do I expect this to do?
Print a random float from 0 to 2.
Yeah, I expect it to print something about random involving 2.
That's
0.8841753. 1.629 blah blah blah.
What's the meaning of like?
0.1818. 0.64. What is this doing? 1.24. 0.11.
Everything underneath 2.
Have I seen something bigger than 1 yet?
Yeah.
Oh, there's 1.
What about lesson?
Okay, so
0?
I expect this to apparently print things between 0 and 2 as what? Yeah, as floats, right? So I could try this. I could be like, okay, how high do I want to get in this array? What's the last thing in the array? What index is that in? 5, right? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So maybe I would do up to 6. Why would I do up to 6? Do I need to go look up the random API, or should we keep screwing around with it?
From 0 to 9 including full.
Okay, so if I do random 6, I'm getting 3.44, 2.7, 1.45, 0.8. Actually, that was more like 0.9, 0.9, 4.04. So could I just try like words at the index there? What's it whining about?
Well, they're all
Type
integers.
mismatch.
You need them.
What do you mean
Index
type
only has
mismatch?
You need to be an integer.
Why?
Because the index is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
What, you mean there's not a 2.926948 element in the array? Oh. Okay, so how do you force it to be an integer?
Int function.
Yeah, you want some kind of round, right? So it turns out that the right answer is int.
Put a space. Yeah.
Syntax error on int. Delete this. Dude, that's not nice.
It's like you're
It's
wrong.
like delete this.
Luna's gonna come in here and fire me if I don't straighten this out.
I will.
Okay, so
I believe it.
how do you solve this?
Needs to be a
Go to Google, my young Padawans. Google rounding random processing. Round. Oh, hilarious. There's a round command. I didn't even know that one.
well because the round.
Closest to the end.
Oh, bummer. That one like rounds up and down. Floor.
Floor.
Floor would do this. What's floor do?
Closest integer value is less than or equal to
Yeah, so that's one option. You could use the floor function. The cooler option is to do what Chris is suggesting in the back, which is, Chris, say loudly what you were doing.
Typecast the float into an integer, which is
Yeah, you can do a thing called typecasting, which is probably the coolest name we're going to come across in basic computer science. This is like you were a freaking wizard and you were going to force that thing to be this other variable type. So I'm going to literally take this float that I'm getting out of random 6, and I'm going to use my magic powers to make that an integer. And the way it does that is by rounding down. There are a variety of ways in which it could make an integer. It happens that typecasting to an int in processing is done with the floor function.
I imagine that it just chops off everything.
Yeah, it literally just forgets the decimal part. What's up, Drake?
The end parentheses needs to be in the bracket. You put it outside of it.
What?
So you see how you have 2 parentheses outside?
Oh,
the
yeah.
bracket?
You guys see what he's complaining about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So processing's complaining about the same thing Drake is complaining about, which is that I tried to put this junk into the words index spot, right? And this junk is not done executing. You guys see that? It's passing 6 to the random function, and then it's trying to pass all of this stuff to the int function, but there's a square bracket in there that doesn't have a friend. You guys see that? So that's just me. I put the parenthesis in the wrong spot, so that square bracket needs to go out here. You guys see that? Good eye, Drake. Okay, so this is going to pick a random number between 0 and 6. That's how the random function works. As a decimal. And then it's going to feed that into the integer function, which is going to typecast. It's going to round down to an integer. And then it's going to put that into the words array, right? Which is going to pull that element out, and then it's going to print it. You guys all good with this? So what do I expect this to do?
Print a random one of the things in the array.
Yeah, I expect this to print a random thing out of the array where? In the console, and
Bring up a window.
bring open a little default sized window. Let's try it. Lion. Lion. Oh God. Lion. Oh.
One of the chances.
Excellent question. What are the odds on that?
There's only 6 of them, so it's not fun.
One out of 2016.
Yeah, there's only 6, so it's not actually that uncommon. Probably you'll want to roll this through and just double check, right? That you're getting all the things and that they're happening like in a relatively reasonable amount. So if you go into the API for random, there's a bunch of different stuff you can do with random. So random is what's called a method in here. I keep using the word method and functions kind of interchangeably. They are not quite interchangeable, but they are They're fairly close. So a function is a standalone thing that takes an input and gives you an output. And a method is a thing associated with an object. There is one problem in that the whole program processing that we're using is itself an object. It does not actually have functions. It has fake functions that are actually methods. Don't sweat this for right now. For right now, we can assume that random is a function, and that will be just fine. Is all good with that? Meaning it's a function like in math class. It takes an input and makes an output. Okay. So if I look down here at the bottom, there's some syntax. The random takes usually an upper bound, and there we go. Each time random is called, it returns an unexpected value within a specified range. If only one thing is passed, it will return a float between 0 and that value. Very specifically, not including that value. Why is that important to me with my little pulling a random thing out of this array?
So you can get all of them.
Why is it important, though, that it doesn't include 6? What would happen if 6 came out of there?
Give you an error.
Yeah, it would give me an out-of-bounds error because there's no thing at slot 6 of that array. You guys see that? How likely would it be to pull 6 anyway? Very, very unlikely. You guys see why? Yeah, it's pulling a float, right? So there's a lot of floats between 0 and 1.
More between 0 and 6.
And there are not very many that are 6. You guys see that?
It would have to be exactly 6.
It would have to be exactly 6 to cause me a problem.
Nice.
You guys see that? Because I'm rounding down, right?
So
Do a range.
Keep in mind that the floats are not that big, right? So it's more likely than you would think. In math land, it's probability 0. In computer science land, it's probability not very frickin' likely, but could easily happen. Especially when you're doing something in a draw loop where it's running 60 times a second. You guys want to see a really bizarre... Let's put this in a... So, let me loop through this. I'm going to just add a setup and a draw, right? How do you add a setup?
void setup, parentheses.
Void setup, parentheses, curly braces. What should you put in there? This whole thing?
Don't they go out of there at the top?
Yeah, I'm going to put my variable declarations at the top, right? Okay, then in my setup method, I'm going to include a background of white and a size of my usual 900, 600. 900, 600, not 900, 6,000. Now, what's it going to whine at me about? It's not whining at me right now, but if I push go on this, it's going to whine at me.
Mixing active and static mode.
Yeah, it's going to say, dude, you're mixing active and static modes. So it looks like you're mixing active and static modes, you dum-dum. Wait, that doesn't seem that dumb. How do you fix that?
Add void null.
Yeah, if you have one method, right, your setup method, then you need the draw method, or at least another method. And this line very specifically needs to go inside there, and we should indent it. And I'm gonna dump my debugging stuff.
Are you gonna use text? Because there's no point in making a background if you're not gonna use text.
Nice. There's no point in using a background if you're not going to use the text command. So, text expects parameters like character, float. Wait.
Position.
Oh, yeah, that's where it is, right? So I'm going to take this thing, and I'm going to put it at width over 2, comma, height over 2. Yeah, and that's going to put the top left or bottom left corner, I forget which, at that
I
spot.
think it's top.
Let's see. So where should I put my text mode thing? What I'm trying to get is, I'm trying to make it so the text is center. Oh, dork it. I'm going to print this once just to look. Wait a second.
What's your color?
What is happening? Why isn't there any word? Why is the text thing not working? Did I use the wrong
It
command?
needs the size and the color. So
Yeah.
then you'll see.
Yeah, it's the default text color is white. Why I don't know. But if we switch the background to black, at least we'll see some.
Yeah.
Nice.
How come it's not changing?
Oh, is it just printing over itself?
Yeah, it's just printing over itself and it's mega small. So I'm going to take the background. I'm going to put that in the draw so that it redraws the background every time. How do I change the text color, size, and position?
Put it in the draw. Use.
Don't put it in the draw. You don't need to change it every time. You just want to change it once at the beginning, right? So you want text,
Text mode and then size and everything.
text mode, center. That's going to make it so it's the position that I'm talking about, the width over 2, height over 2, is the middle of that text box.
Text size.
Text size, maybe? Seems like a solid guess. Text size expects a float.
20.
Nice try.
30.
Okay, cool.
And oh yeah.
Okay, and what color background is this drawing on?
Black.
Black?
Oh, that's great.
Oh, that is mega obnoxious.
Maybe a frame rate change.
Yeah, it's going too fast, right? There's a command for changing how fast it's going. Frame rate? No.
Frame rate random, yeah.
4. What's 4 in frame rate mean?
Frames a second.
4 frames a second.
That's what all my video games run at.
All my video. Bummer.
Error, did you see that?
Yeah, I saw the error at the top there.
So it shows 6.
Let's. Text mode 3 is not supported by this renderer. What? Okay, API time. What was it wanting about?
Text mode.
Text mode? What are the text modes?
What render is it using? Oh, E.
I don't know. What's the mode? Where? What happened, guys? Did I do something stupid? I think I did something stupid. So if I go into text, probably there's a text mode was what I, oh, there's a text align? Oh, maybe that'd do. Oh, that's what it is. You guys see it? I just guessed the wrong command, and it was annoyed at me. So I want text align center,
Not text.
not text mode center. That does happen, yes. A lot to me. Okay, now let's try it. Middle of the screen, more on less at least. Okay, so I'm annoyed by the fact that it's printing out the command line. How do you stop that?
Get rid of the print line.
Oh, first stop it,
Yeah.
right? And then comment the print line out. It is usually good practice to keep your debugging things in there. Right, so if you're using something for debugging, don't delete it, just comment it out. Okay, cool. Why does it stay on one of them for a second sometimes?
It shows that one twice, so 3 times.
Yeah, that one got picked a couple of times in a row. So it's not that it's broken, right? Because that does definitely happen. For the record, what size die am I rolling here?
It's D6.
Yeah, this is a 1d6, right?
Well, it's an ND6.
What? No, this is 1d6 draw.
You're rolling multiple times.
Yeah, okay. And then I'm rolling it a bunch of times. Fair point. Okay, cool. Questions, deals?
What do you keep saying? Question steals?
Deals. Do you have any deals? Yeah. You have a deal?
You want to make a deal?
Okay.
I don't know. I just say that.
That makes-
Sorry.
No, it's fine. I just couldn't figure out my ears.
I'll take the entire array for $3.
It says
Questions? Deals?
deals.
Like, do you have a deal?
I like that.
This is a very Minnesota thing to say. I'm sorry.
I like it.
Okay. Any questions on this stuff? If you wanted to make it mega, mega fast,
Frame rate 1,722.
yeah. So your eyes are only good to maybe 60 at the outside. Which is PS why buying a television that refreshes at 120 hertz is a silly, silly waste of money. Other things, if I wanted to make the text appear on a white background, what would I need to change?
Stroke.
Text color.
No, you just use stroke.
Let's try this, and then when it doesn't work, we'll try stroke.
Oh,
So text color does not exist.
well, it should.
Dang it. It really should.
That's annoying. You have to use fill like 8 times.
Stroke? Expects parameters like stroke int. What's it expecting? Do you guys remember what the stroke function expects?
Color.
Couple numbers, right? So an RGB or just a number, right? If I just give it a number between 0 and 255, it's grayscale. If I give it a giant number, it kicks into a color mode.
Typecasted random 255.
No.
Let's see. So if I do random 255 and then random
Yeah, welcome to my world.
255 and then random 255, what do I expect this to do?
Random color
Oh, it's
every
gonna,
time. Or
it's gonna
not
be
every time.
beautiful.
Yeah, it's going to pick 3 random numbers between 0 and 255 and assign them to the red,
What
green,
if
and
it draws
blue.
so it does it every time?
Oh, yeah, and then we should definitely put that in the draw.
Definitely put your
Yeah.
frame rate up.
Yeah.
Yes! I love how excited you guys get about this. Like, yes! It makes something...
Oh, because
The background's white.
Why is it not doing the thing,
The
guys?
background's white.
Because the background's white.
It's drawing the background after the stroke.
well, maybe try int.
You guys were wrong.
Fill.
You guys were so wrong. Yeah, it's
Fire.
not stroke, it's Bill.
You're fired.
That's dumb.
I'm fired. Oh yeah, I guess that's my fault, isn't it? I
Yeah,
should have
no,
taught
it's-
you all better.
Yeah.
If only I had done a good job teaching, you would know. Yeah, stroke was actually a really solid guess, right? Turns out it's Phil.
I feel like this is a weird, ambiguous music video.
Definitely.
With like just the sounds of rain,
This is like
rain
90s
behind it.
rock.
Okay, cool. Do you guys have questions about the way the random function works? What if I wanted it to stay away from being black?
You could have a minimum range of black.
Or stay away from being white, because I can't read it if it's pretty light. You guys see that?
Yeah.
You want it random between
Yeah, I'd want to, like,
10 comments and 45.
yeah, exactly. Keep it above 10 in all of the randoms. Oops. 1p0 is not a value that the random function knows what to do with. You guys kind of follow along with this? Right, so what I'm doing is I set the bottoms for each one to be 10. So that's going to at least make it 10 in the red, green, and blue, which should make it darker.
Frame rate is way too slow.
Oh, yeah, and then the frame rate is way too slow.
Random.
Random.
5,000.
Oh,
So.
Okay, cool.
Take
Good.
a random frame rate and put
Yes.
it in the draw.
No, don't do that. Yeah, whatever you do, do not do that. It is obnoxious to put your frame rate as random. Leave the frame rate at some static value. Okay, cool. Questions?
It was so